Right now, 40 to 60% of your team's tasks could be done by AI agents, and you're still paying people's full-time salaries to do that work every single week. So I've deployed AI across over 390 businesses, and the same thing shows up every time. Business owners just like you are spending money on AI tools, you're subscribing to literally everything, you're watching every tutorial, but you got nothing to show for it because the tools that you're using, they work fine, but the problem is that nobody has a system for actually figuring out where AI belongs in your business and where it does not. So let me walk you through exactly how I figured that out with every business that I work with. We're gonna start with how to find your biggest constraint so that you're not aiming AI at the wrong thing. Then I'm gonna walk you through what I call the replacement matrix, which is a simple tool that maps every task in a role into one of 4 buckets: stuff that you eliminate, stuff that stays human, stuff that AI wraps around, and stuff that AI takes over completely. And by the end, I'm gonna show you the exact math so you can calculate how much money is hiding in your business right now. And I'll show you what happened when real business owners ran this on their process and teams and what their results were. There are 2 kinds of entrepreneurs using AI right now, and they look completely different. The first kind is what I call an AI tourist. And you probably know if this is you because you've got like 10 or 12 AI subscriptions running right now. You're reading every AI newsletter, you're watching every YouTube video about the newest tools, and you're always busy with it. But here's the problem. You're busy with stuff that doesn't actually matter because AI tourists start with the tool, okay? They think the move is to learn the platform first and then figure out where this fits inside of their business. And what ends up happening is they become consumers. You're overwhelmed, you're confused, and you're not making any more money or saving any time, you're just spending. And then you've got the second group. You've got AI operators. So operators don't start with tools, they start with problems, okay? They find the single biggest constraint in their business, that one bottleneck that's choking their growth, and they aim it directly at the AI. And here's what I love that they do. They measure where they are before, they build a single thing in their business, then they build something to solve that one specific problem, and then they measure what happens after. And the reason why is they're outcome focused. They're not output focused. And they go from an idea to something that actually works in just minutes. And here's why this matters. The gap between those 2 is the entire difference between AI being a cost in your business and AI being the thing that actually moves the needle in your business. So the rest of this video is about how you can become an AI operator. Okay, so before we get to the replacement matrix, there's something that you need to see first. And here's the deal. It comes down to something that most business owners that are doing between, let's say, 1 and 25 million a year in revenue are living right now, but you've never actually put a name to it. Every business sits on one side of a very specific line. You're either demand constrained or you're supply constrained. Now, demand constrained means you don't have enough leads or sales or new customers coming in to keep your people busy. Supply constrained means you've got so much coming in that you actually need more capacity to deliver on your promises. Under the demand side, you're looking at leads, follow-ups, sales conversion, and under supply, you're looking at things like onboarding, getting customers to that time of first value, delivering on your promises, and being able to take on more without things actually falling apart. So before you touch any AI tool, you need to know which side of that world that you're on. And that takes literally 5 minutes, and it changes everything about where you actually point AI in your business. Now, here's why this matters so much. Most businesses are stuck in what I call profit prison. And it looks like this. As your sales go up, your head count goes up almost proportionately right alongside it. You sell more, you hire more. You sell more, you hire more. And the gap between the money coming in and the people you're paying to keep up with it, that is your profit. And in most businesses, that gap is super thin. And you can't scale sales without scaling people, and your margins never actually grow. Now, in an AI-enabled business, we break that up. Sales go up, but headcount stays flat. And that growing gap between revenue and headcount, that is your profit. And if you get good enough at this, your headcount actually starts to trend down while sales keep climbing. But the only way that you're gonna get there is by knowing exactly where to aim AI inside of your business. Not everywhere, not at random, but right at your constraint. And the tool that I built to figure out exactly which tasks fit within that constraint and go to AI and which ones don't, that's the replacement matrix. Once you know your constraint and the role responsible for it, the next question is which of that person's tasks go to AI and which ones stay with the humans. And that's what the replacement matrix is going to answer for you. And when you map a role onto it, you're going to find that 40 to 60% of what that person does every day is sitting in one specific quadrant. That's where all your money and your time is hiding right now. And here's how it works. You basically have two axes. The first one is judgment, which is just how much brain power and thinking and discernment for this particular task does it require? High judgment or low judgment? The second one is frequency, which means how often do you do it, okay? High frequency or low frequency. Every task in every role in your business maps onto one of these four quadrants. So let's start with the first one, and this is the one that most people skip. I call this the axe quadrant. Low judgment, low frequency. You don't do it that often, and it doesn't take a lot of thinking. And my rule here is simple. Just eliminate before you automate, okay? Before you spend any time figuring out how to make something faster with AI, ask yourself whether it should even exist in the first place. Because why would we want to automate crap? Automating crap just gives you more crap, right? So let me give you a few examples. Meetings that don't have a decision attached to them, just get rid of them. Because most meetings inside of your business, they don't need to exist. Status reports that nobody acts on, same thing. If there's no decision coming out of that report, you don't need that report. And all that time that you're spending doing things like scrolling through feeds and threads and thinking that you're doing research when you're actually not, that's just a productivity leak, okay? So I went through my own business and I killed every meeting that didn't have a decision attached to it. And I got 5 hours back every single week. So just start there, because before we automate anything, we want to eliminate. Now the next quadrant is high judgment, low frequency. This is what I call the anchor quadrant, and this is the stuff that you want to protect completely, okay? Your vision, your strategy, your point of view, and how you see the world differently than everyone else. Things like your leadership. These are the things that require the deepest levels of thinking that you've got. And even though you don't do them every single day, when you do them, they shape everything inside of your business. And AI doesn't set your vision. AI doesn't decide what you say no to. So keep that quadrant entirely human. Now the third quadrant, this is high judgment, high frequency. This is what I call the augment quadrant. Sales calls, coaching, content creation, client strategy, these require real human judgment, and you do them all the time, okay? So you don't hand them off to the AI, but you can wrap AI around them to make them a lot more sharper. Take sales calls, for example. You're not giving those to a robot, right? But you can have an AI put together a prep report that shows up on the rep's calendar before every single call with who the prospect is, how they find you, what their likely buying points are, everything that a sales rep would need to know to walk in sharp. And after the call, AI can analyze the performance, report back to the rep and their manager on what went well and where the coaching is needed. Same thing with content. You don't want AI creating your content from scratch, because your content needs your point of view. It needs your experience. It needs your perspective. It needs your soul. So start with your own ideas first and then use AI to refine them. Don't do it the other way around. Otherwise, you end up sounding like everybody else and nobody wants to listen to that. Now, the fourth quadrant, this is where the money is. Low judgment, high frequency. I call this the automate quadrant because these are the tasks that don't require a lot of brain power, but your team does them literally over and over and over and over again. Things like reporting, email triage, research, anything administrative, scheduling, surveys, follow-up, even things like feedback loops. This list is super long because it's like 40 to 60% of the tasks that your team are doing are sitting right here inside of this quadrant. All you have to do is take the role on your biggest constraint, map their tasks across these four quadrants, and then look at what's sitting inside the automate bucket. High frequency, low judgment. That's where AI agents go first. Everything I just walked you through is a framework, but let me show you what it looks like in dollars when you run it on your actual business. So first, I want you to take the total tasks sitting in the automate bucket for just one of those roles. And I want you to add up the hours that those tasks eat every single week, and then multiply that by the dollar per hour cost of that particular role. And let's just call it 50 bucks an hour as a baseline. Then multiply that by 50 weeks, and that number is how much money you can either save or how much capacity you can unlock in that single role every year. And we ran this exact process with Bernardo, who's inside of our community Prime Elite, which is our AI mastermind. He found 5 hours per team member per week sitting in the automate quadrant. 5 hours times $50 an hour times 50 weeks, that's $12,500 per employee per year. And the thing I want you to notice is that you can run this across multiple people on your team. It's not just that one role that's surviving inside of your biggest constraint. You can do 3 roles, 4 roles, 5 roles on the supply side, each one with their own automate bucket, and it starts to compound fast across your business. So Bernardo's team also figured out that they could build their own website using an AI tool instead of paying an agency $10,000. So they saved another $10K right there on top of everything else. And that's just one business owner running this on a super small team. Let me show you what it looks like at scale. So we work with a guy named Sunny who runs the largest master MSP in the US, and with thousands and thousands of employees, he's very supply constrained. So he had more customers than his team could actually handle. So we ran the constraint test. We found the bottleneck sitting inside of ticket triage inside of his business. So ticket triage, routing, dispatch, and lower level ticket resolution. And his team now has implemented over 150 AI agents, and they're saving more than 1,000 hours a month. It's the same process and the same framework at a completely different scale. And the math, it works the same whether you've got a team of 5 or a team of 500 or a team of 5,000. The replacement matrix shows you exactly where the time and money is hiding inside your business. The only question is whether you're going to run the process or keep guessing and trying to figure this out on your own. So if you want to learn how to do this stuff with me, I want you to go to dmjoe.com or click the link in the description and DM me the word matrix. I'm going to do a live workshop where I show up and we map out your whole business. We flag your roles against the biggest constraints in your business. We filter it against the matrix and we figure out exactly which tasks need to get automated. And then I'm going to show you live on that workshop how to build a working AI agent before you leave. So go to dmjoe.com, send me the word matrix, and I'll give you the details. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we drop videos like this every single week, and I'll catch you on the next one.